Peace and blessings to the family. It is me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions and Broadcasting Community. Shout out to Envision Video and Photography. Shout out to Louisiana American Sports Network. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about a topic that came from a show I was watching yesterday. First and foremost, major shout out to my brother 78 Sports TV. Yesterday on his channel, him and Banky Pound, salute to Banky Pound too. They had a great boxing conversation. However, during the course of the conversation, Banky Pound was basically asking, why don't more blue chip athletes, instead of going Power 5 PWIs, why don't they go to HBCUs? And that's an interesting question and conversation. Now, I know even in the 90s, because I know, may rest in peace, I remember the late, great Doc Williams, athletic trainer at Southern University. He's also an athletic trainer for the Dallas Cowboys. He was telling us in this athletic injuries class I was having, he was saying that the playing field will never be level between Power 5 PWIs and HBCUs. And he was saying that in terms of resources, primarily money, facilities, and everything else you could think of, Power 5 PWIs like LSU have a serious competitive advantage over Southern University. And now that you introduce name, image, and likeness deals or NIL deals into the equation, it's kind of further widen the gap between, PWIs, especially those Power 5 PWIs, and HBCUs. And, the thing about it is what Banky Pound was saying, and he made an excellent point. Over the years, a lot of these players, just say if you're an elite level prospect and there's no NIL money on the table, and your draft status, whether you're a potential NFL prospect, potential NBA prospect, whatever the case may be, if the school you go to doesn't impact your draft status and there's no NIL money on the table, yeah, I know maybe if you go to a Power 5 PWI, the facilities may be better, whatever the case may be. But if the playing field was level, which we know it's not, but even with that being said, he was saying that if, these 5-star blue chip athletes, if they decided, hey, we won't go to HBCUs, he said the mainstream media is going to focus their attention on wherever they are. So just say all your top 5-star players decided, hey, I'm going to go to Southern instead of going to LSU. Instead of going to, I'm going to go to Alabama State and Alabama A&M instead of going to Alabama. I'm going to go to Jackson State instead of going to Ole Miss. I'm going to go to Prairie View instead of going to Texas A&M. I'm going to go to Texas Southern instead of going to Texas Tech, TCU, University of Texas. So, in that instance there, he was saying if they all decided, hey, we're going to go to HBCUs, guess what? The coverage is shift. Instead of changing the narrative and changing the dynamic of, hey, you need to come to, if you're a player, a 5-star player from Baton Rouge, instead of you having to go to LSU to be an NFL prospect or an NBA prospect, if you go to Southern instead, and guess what? The camera's going to come where you are. And the same thing, if you decide to go to Alabama State or Alabama A&M instead of Alabama, or if you decide to go to Texas Southern instead of the University of Texas, And essentially, that's what he was saying. And I think that's a great idea. And the thing about it is, you know, that's why, even though he was at Jackson State instead of being at Southern, that was one of the good things about having, Deion Sanders be the head coach at Jackson State, because it brought a certain degree of attention to not only Jackson State, but to the SWAC and HBCU football in general. And once he left, because we knew he wasn't going to stay at Jackson State. And the thing about it is, if he just would have said, hey, Colorado offered me more money and a better opportunity, then I wouldn't have been mad if he just would have just left and kept it pushing. But the fact that he had that dirty up Jackson State on his way out the door and justify and rationalize his reasoning for, leaving Jackson State to go to Colorado, it rubbed me the wrong way big time. And not only that, but you add on top of that the fact that, that he backed Ryan Garcia, the scumbag piece of trash that he is, who talked about bringing George Floyd back to life and kneeling on his neck and all kinds of, on top of the fact that he cheated, our brother Devin Haney. It's like, come on, man, like you rocking with this dude. I know you a football coach and you really don't, follow boxing like that. You just know he won a big fight. But come on, man, you're a professional athlete, a former professional athlete. You should, before you have this parading this guy in your locker room around your players, you should know the background of this individual. So essentially, you vouching for him. So at the end of the day, I felt like bank and pound. Yesterday, the conversation between him and 7 Sports TV, it was just an excellent boxing conversation. But adding in the dynamic of, why don't more blue chip, 5-star, 4-star caliber athletes go to HBCUs instead of, PWI Power Fives? I think bank and pound, he's, that was real. That was an excellent point. It was well thought out. And I think that should be the narrative, even though, Deion Sanders left and went to Colorado, and recently Eddie George, left and he went to Bowling Green. I think more blue chip caliber players should go to HBCUs. Southern, Alcorn State, Alabama and Alabama State, Texas Southern, Prairie View, Jackson State, whoever. And, I think it should be a paradigm shift. It shouldn't just be a Coach Prime thing. It should be, hey, wherever we go, the spotlight gonna follow us. And I think, that should be the narrative moving forward. But that's it for this video. If you find any value in this video, please like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel. Also click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. Also go check out my brother Jared Lovin Green on his channel, Southern Baller Show every Sunday, every other Saturday, Black Man's Perspective. Go check out my brother Brent Fox on his channel, where this show is just me starring Brent Fox. Check out my sister Queen Shower on her channel. She talk about boxing. Go check her out. My brother Cadillac Red, Supreme Beast Boxing Talk, Supreme Beast Boxing Talk channel, BSing on the Beltway is his show. And my brother 7 Sports TV. He has two channels. His primary channel is 7 Sports TV. His backup channel is the North 304 Show. All of these channels are in the post section of my channel. I'm going to get ready to watch the Lady Jags put in some work. I'll catch y'all for my post-game reaction. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening, blessed and phenomenal night. Catch y'all tomorrow with some more content. Peace and blessings.